I'm super excited about introducing our next speaker, and I'll tell you why. I had the profound honor of doing it once before. And for me, I mean, I'm not a professional MC, so I'm super sorry that you've had to endure me. I'm just an entrepreneur that creates legacy plans for really cool people. And so when Gio says, hey, would you MC my events? Like any chance to be in his community with these kinds of people, I'll take you up on that any day of the week. But one of the side benefits is getting to meet great people like Aleric. I mean, this guy got his start really in a place called YouTube. Show of hands, anyone ever heard of YouTube? YouTube? I mean, over 14 years ago, very few people actually did. And he had built AppFind, which became the largest app review channel on the platform with over 500,000 subscribers. Now at just 26 years of age, he's built an 8-figure company, AdOutreach it's called, where he empowers entrepreneurs on how to harness the power of value-driven video and grow their businesses on, well, YouTube. His clients have collectively generated, check this out, multiple 9 figures in revenue. I mean, and that's what you want. It's not just about getting an idea and that your vision isn't something you chase, it's something you come from, and you kind of put things on paper and you publish and you get out there. It's also a function of really amplification, yeah? Getting out there, or dare I even say omnipresence. Everyone just say that big fancy word, omnipresence. Omnipresence, being out there, and this guy's a pro at it. I mean, with ClickFunnels and 2 Club X Award and his AdOutreach company, he's become the 87th fastest growing business in America, according to Inc. 5,000 rather. Leveraging his phenomenal results, he has built several other successful ventures, none of which we have to tell you about because we're not sure if the IRS is in here. And he's acquired other companies. And as a result, he's invested in other businesses with the mission, pure mission, to simply empower every single entrepreneur and business owner to share their magic, share their unique message, and share it with ideas that can create and produce and move solutions. Friends, all together, let's welcome my friend, Aleric.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is worth 1,000,000. And today, I want to share with you why the power of video gives you the ability to share your story and change your destiny. You see, video is the way that you can connect with the people that you are here to serve and the people you are here to impact. We're all here for a reason. Raise your hand if you want to create a bigger impact in the world, right? That should be everybody's hand going up. That is what we're here to do. Now, one of the best ways to actually amplify your impact is, of course, getting your message out there, and I want to share how you can do that with video. Now, one thing that I say is one of my favorite things are events like this. I actually think this is the best way to go out and get your message in front of people, share it. Maybe you could be up on stage in the future. I know people were talking about that before. Some of the talks focused on that. However, there's only so much that distribution can go. I love the in-person atmosphere and feeling, but if you want to amplify your message and get a message seen by millions and millions and millions of people, the way to do that is by taking your message, turning it into a compelling video, and getting that video into the hands of the people who need to see it. Now, here's the incredible thing. You don't need to be an expert at video to start creating content. You see, you all have a phone in your pocket, and this phone has the ability to now record in 4K video. 4K video! That's fantastic. You attach a tool called a gimbal that stabilizes your phone, and you have a video capturing machine that you can use to get your message out there. And I want to teach you some of these frameworks behind crafting what I call value-driven videos, because that's what's going to allow you to actually amplify your impact. Not just creating a video to create a video, but creating a video that actually provides genuine value to the people you're looking to impact. Now, there's ways to do that with advertising, and you heard earlier how I've been able to help a lot of people use the power of YouTube ads and video advertising, but you can also do the same thing with the power of video on social media, organic video. Of course, I love YouTube, but there's so many different video-based platforms that you can use as well. So we're going to break down a couple of these frameworks in just a second, because I want you to have the tools that you can use. But I want to share a story of how I discovered the power of video. We're going to go back, actually, almost 16 years ago now, to 2009. I was just 12 years old at the time, and I would always film these videos with my friends. I had a video camera. At the time, I thought I wanted to be a movie director, and I was always filming these different videos. And I remember when I first learned about YouTube. And it was a totally different platform at the time. Who here remembers YouTube, back in the early days where it was, kind of standard definition videos? You had to rate 5 stars. It wasn't asking to like a video on YouTube. They literally had a 5-star rating system. Totally different platform back then. And I just remember getting so excited about the ability to post a video for free online and have people watch it. And at that point, I had recently gotten, as like a Christmas gift, an iPod Touch. And I remember getting that, and remember, I was 12 years old at the time, so there was all these apps that I was downloading. I was getting excited about it. I remember filming a video just showing off some of my favorite apps. And I put it on YouTube, and all of a sudden, I was getting people watching that video. It wasn't just friends, it wasn't family. People were going and watching it. Soon enough, I started posting more and more videos. More and more people started to watch. My channel grew. I was getting thousands of views, then tens of thousands, and hundreds of thousands, and then ultimately millions of views. I remember when the iPhone 4 came out, I created a video. It was a complete beginner's guide for that phone. And at that time, my father and my grandmother had just gotten an iPhone, or smartphone, for the first time. And they didn't really know how to use it. And so I was trying to teach them and show them how to do it. I said, you know what? I'm going to create a video. And young me created a video teaching them how to use an iPhone. And that video ended up getting over 1 million views. A lot of people started to watch it. I realized if I could create a video that provides value, and that's where I started. I just wanted to create an amazing video, that people would actually pay attention and watch it. But then what I realized is all of a sudden, all these app developers started coming knocking, right? They started saying, hey, can you feature our app in your video? And I was amazed. I said, wait a second, this thing that I'm doing, providing value, building an audience here, there actually is an opportunity to make money at this. Same thing with getting in the YouTube Partner Program and having ads run on those videos. And so I started to see that capability and that power, and I ended up growing that channel to over 500,000 subscribers. And fast forward, I was doing this throughout high school. I was doing this into college. And I remember when I was in college, I was trying to figure out what was next, because I was continuing to grow that YouTube channel. Of course, there's paths to continue to do that. But I knew that there was something more that I could do, and it came in the form of an opportunity. And by the way, I'm sharing this with you to see the power of video, because this is something that I learned, and your journey is going to look different, but I learned from a very young age the power of video, and I want to share those principles in just a second. So I'm actually going to give you the tactical frameworks in just a second. But to continue the story, I had an app developer reach out to me, kind of standard at that time. I was creating the video, put it on YouTube. They got a bunch of downloads. They said, this is great. Can we pay you to post the same video on your channel next week? We'll just pay you again. And I had to look at them. I had to say, wait a second, it doesn't work that way. And if you know social media, you know what I'm talking about. You don't just post the exact same thing on your social media feed a week later. But this was 10 years ago. This was a decade ago. So people didn't really understand exactly how YouTube worked and how all that worked. And so I said, what if we take that same money? It's like $500. And we put that towards ads to promote this video talking about this app. They were a little skeptical at first, because back then, not many people were doing YouTube ads other than the major big companies. But I ended up doing it, and ended up getting thousands of users for their app. So they were blown away. They told their friends. There was, next thing you know, another company working with me to create videos. And then they wanted me to fly to, drop out of college at the time. They gave me a job offer, fly out to Silicon Valley, join their team, start running YouTube ads for them, and I turned it down. Probably like a lot of you here, right? You have that entrepreneurial desire. You don't want to necessarily be the knight in somebody else's castle. You want to be the king of your own castle, or queen of your own castle, even if you have to build it brick by brick. And that's a big part of that entrepreneurship, and I knew that I had that. And that's when I realized that there was an opportunity here, and I started to help businesses with YouTube ads and, of course, helped many, many businesses grow and scale using that. But this isn't about me. This is about the power of video, because what I realized that day, back when I was young, creating videos on YouTube, back when I started going into YouTube ads for the first time, and now I've had the privilege to work with so many different companies, is that video is a means to get your message out there. Why do those app developers want to be featured on that channel? Why did those companies, all the companies that we've worked with YouTube ads, want our help with that? It's because of that power that video has. And so what I want to share with you is a simple framework that you can use to actually start implementing the power of video. Now, this is whether you're ready to run ads or not. So I'm going to give you the framework for a video ad, a value-driven video ad, the secret behind hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue from videos, and then I'm also going to give you the secret behind a value-driven YouTube video. So the secret goes like this. There are three main components. The first is the hook that draws people in. It captures their attention. And usually this is starting with a big, bold problem, a challenge that people are facing. Maybe it's a bold statement. What's something that you can say about your industry or about the space that you're in or the problems that your ideal clients have that are going to get people just to pay attention to you? That's your hook. Then you want to actually provide value. This is the big thing people get wrong in ads. How many people have seen ads where people say, hey, do you have this problem? Okay, go buy my thing. Right? How compelling is that? That's like every ad we've been trained to tune out. You want to provide real, genuine value in the ad. That's why we call it a value ad. And we want to use that value ad to actually have that ability to educate and provide real value to the viewer. So pick 2 to 3 things to quickly teach on inside of that video. What are myths or misconceptions that you can bust? What are things that you can share with the viewer? Can you give them an aha moment in the ad? If you can teach somebody in the ad and give them an aha moment, it's going to make them trust you so much more. And what is this about? It's about the know, like, and trust factor. If you can get people to trust you on your ad, they are going to be so much far more likely to want to work with you. And by the way, I'm going to share the organic strategy without ads in just a second. So then finally, you've got a call to action. You want to make this clear and compelling. How can they get more value, and how can they learn from you and start implementing what it is that you're able to help them with? So it's hook, draws people in, educate, so you're providing real value in the ad, and then call to action, a clear and concise call to action at the end. That is your value video ad. And then in terms of actually getting that ad in front of the right people, I'll actually give you a resource in just a few minutes here that you can use for that, because that's more tactical. I'm keeping this a higher level talk for everybody here, and I also want to get on the organic side. That being said, the basic principle is reaching the right person at the right time with the right message. That's the key. That's how to actually make sure that you can get that video in front of the right people. The right person at the right time with the right message. Hook, educate, call to action. Now, when it comes to your organic video, there's 5 main areas. You'll recognize 3 of them because they're the same as the ad. But you're adding a couple other elements into it as well. So you've got the hook at the beginning that captures attention, but then you want to tell a story. Story is next. Now, by the way, there's a lot of people out there that talk about with ads, they go hook, story, and then call to action. And that's great, and there's different strategies that work. However, I found the education is so valuable in the ad. However, when it comes to organic, you actually want both. You want the story, and then you want the education, right? So in the ad, hook, educate, call to action. In the video, the organic video, hook, then a story. Tell a story. How did you discover this? What were some people that you helped with this? Then educate. Provide real, genuine value. Then you want to summarize. What have they learned throughout this video, and how can they actually implement this into their own lives or businesses or whatever you're helping them with? And then finally, you've got a call to action at the end. So it's the hook, capture their attention, story, tell a story about it, educate. Then you want to summarize and show them how they can implement, and have a call to action, which, by the way, even a talk like this follows a similar framework. You actually pay attention to how all of that works. And so that's how you can craft that compelling video. And then again, a few tactical tips, although I'll give a resource in a second that will share more on this, is just making sure that you have a compelling headline or title of that video, thumbnail that captures curiosity, and your video, again, it starts with that hook. So it starts right at the beginning. When they click it, you're actually going to be able to provide and give that value. So those are the two key frameworks that you can use to craft videos that inspire. The hook, educate, call to action on your ad, reaching the right person at the right time with the right message. And then when it comes to your organic video, the hook that pulls people in, the story that makes it real, the education of providing more value, more in-depth value in that video, the summary and the way that they can actually apply this to themselves, and then finally, the call to action. And those are the keys. So now I'm going to put up on the screen, if you want to learn more about actually how to target and some of the more tactical strategies, I also put together a 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF. I also have some resources on organic YouTube as well. You can scan that QR code or just go to adoutreach.com/gift. There's also some additional trainings and resources on that next page as well. So again, I wanted to keep this talk more high level, and then when you go and scan this, this will actually give you the tactical step-by-step of how to target with YouTube ads. And there's also trainings on YouTube organic growth as well. And so in summary, there is a massive power that you have to leverage video. Because again, we are all here to create impact. And if we want to create the biggest impact, we have to get in front of people with an audience. Now, I know some of you might be saying, Aleric, this is easy for you to say. Clearly, you love getting up here on stage and speaking to people. But I'll tell you this. Back when I filmed one of my early YouTube ads, and this was about 7 years ago, even though I had my channel, I was kind of more behind the screen. People could see my hands. They could hear my voice, but they couldn't see my face. I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am today, and I was self-conscious with how I looked. So when it was time for me to record my own ad with my face, I almost didn't publish that video. I almost clicked delete on the first main ad that I filmed for myself. I had been doing it for clients. I knew it was the strategy. I followed the whole process, but I was self-conscious with how I looked. But I published it anyways, and I'm so glad because that ad that I almost deleted was the first ad to make me over $1 million in my business. So my final message for you is it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you sound like, what your background is, what you're teaching. It does not matter any of your insecurities. All that matters is that you be yourself, you be authentic, and you show up as the video authority. Thank you.